Are you religious, spiritual?
No, bro, but I'm open. I'm open to listen, bro.
Okay. Do you believe in God?
No.
If I had marbles in my hand and I let go, would it fall?
Yes.
Why? Gravity, right?
Yes.
Can you see gravity?
No, but it's proven by science.
Good, good. So one of the proofs by science is that everything that exists requires a cause for its existence.
Okay.
So our existence has a cause. The one who caused it, you might not be able to see them or hear them or know them directly, but you know they must exist.
No, and I can explain why. Because
Tell me why.
these things are proven. Gravity is proven.
But
You
you
can see it
just you
fall.
just
You can
said
see
that
gravity fall.
everything doesn't have a maker. How is that possible?
What do you mean?
Gravity proves that just because you can't see something, hear something, taste something doesn't mean it doesn't exist, right?
I think the universe made us. I think the universe did it all.
Good.
We're
So
random.
your concept of God is the universe itself, correct?
No,
You just said
I
universe
believe in.
created itself.
Yeah, I know. I'd be contradicting myself. My bad. But I mean, like, I believe that we were accidentally made. I don't believe that we have a purpose in life. We just
Okay,
found
okay, okay.
purpose over the
I'm happy.
years.
Listen, I'm happy to concede that your current position is that you don't believe we have a purpose. You don't believe there was a good reason for our creation, etc. That's fine. That's a good starting position, but that cannot be an ending position. Do you know why?
No, you can tell me. You can tell me.
Okay, if you're in a box, closed box, and you don't know where you are, you don't know why you're in that box, you don't know what you're supposed to do, then you have to say to yourself, don't have the information. I need to wait for the information. I need someone to tell me the information. Okay, so have you read the Quran or no?
No.
Okay, we believe that Quran is the message from the Maker. It makes a very profound claim, right? And that is, it says, this is a book upon which there is no doubt, a guidance for the righteous from the Lord of the worlds.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay. Can I stop you right there,
go for
please?
it.
Um, I don't like referring back to text because I don't believe in these books. I believe these books were made by people.
Okay, what's your name? What's your name?
My name's Leon.
Leo. If a man knocked on your door today and said, I'm your father, you can slam the door on his face, but he knocks again and again. You must come up with a system or a means of verifying the claim, right? Now, if you wanted to know if your father is your father, if you have a trusted mother, you can ask her, is this guy my father? And she'll probably confirm or deny it, right?
Okay.
If I give you a gold chain, you might have some chemicals or some electronic devices to confirm if it's really gold or not and how many percent and so forth. So you come up with a tool. Now, if a book claims to be from God, instead of saying, I have a predisposition that I don't believe in God, so this book cannot be from God, we can take another position is that there is a claim, let's validate or invalidate the claim, right?
Yeah.
Because if there was a God and this God decides to send you a letter, you can't say this letter cannot be from God. Why? Because I don't believe in God. Do you see the problem with your position saying, I don't believe, so I'm going to reject the letter?
But how would you know it's from God?
Good. So this is where we discuss about how do you validate. Okay. Now, if something is from God, obviously it should be free from error because God shouldn't make mistakes. It should be free from contradictions because again, God should know better than contradict itself. It should explain and confirm certain facts that we have come to know, right? And before all this, it should really claim it is from God. So it makes the claim and then it validates the claim. Okay?
Okay.
Are we agreeable on that?
Okay.
Good. So I will encourage you to read the Quran. I'll give you one verse from the Quran which shows that A, there is a God, and B, this God has sent the same message over and over again. Okay, so all the prophets brought the same message. One of the reasons people reject religion is because they say there's too many of them out there and they all contradict each other and they're all this and that. No, the true religion has always been the same, that
Okay.
there is only one true God and that God sends a messenger to teach you the religion. Do you know why God sends messengers to teach you the religion?
To have a purpose, to have a meaning.
No. The reason God sends a messenger to teach you the religion is because if He dropped a book on your lap, you might say, "Oh God, you told me to do this, but I didn't know how to do it. There was no example, there was no illustration." Okay?
Okay.
So God sends you the message and He sends you an illustrator to show you how to do the message. You know, modern day teaching, they say, "I will show you, then we'll do things together, then you'll do it yourself." Because human beings, we want to first see how it's done, then we want to do it in conjunction together, then we can do it ourselves, right? And that's the beauty of having a messenger. Because if God asks you to do something and you say, "God, it's not humanly possible," okay, God sends a human to show that it is humanly possible, and then you imitate and you follow that particular individual. Chapter 5 of the Quran, verse 84. As you know, the Quran is in the first person, God speaking. We have other collections where the Prophet speaks or the companions, etc. In Christianity, they don't have the word of God, they don't have the word of Jesus, they have the companions or maybe the first generation. In Islam, we're blessed to have the actual words in the original language preserved, memorized by
Yes.
15 to 20 million people around
Can
the
I
world.
can I ask a question?
Go for
How
it.
it might speak in God's point of view, but how do you know it's God's point of view? How can you confirm that it's God's? You're believing that it is, but you have no specific way of knowing.
Okay, if you left your wallet in the middle of the room and you walked out of the room and came back and it was gone, would you ever accept that it went away by itself?
No.
You would suspect somebody took it, something happened to it. So you'd be looking for the cause and the reason why it's disappeared. Correct?
But it's common sense. That is common
Good,
sense.
good, good. So we human beings, we find ourselves alive and kicking and asking
But
ourselves, why are we here? What is our purpose? What is right? What is wrong? Is there a creator? Isn't there a creator? Do we have a purpose? Etc. Etc.
but
Now,
it's different. It's different because you can't use that analogy because it's a wallet. It's a man-made object. It's not a book. A book is different. A book has written words in it. It's different. Like
okay,
I would suspect that a wallet was put somewhere by somebody or moved because it's a wallet.
okay. I'm going to tell you that perhaps you don't appreciate the value of words because words are a construction that requires intelligence, right? And so, although it may not be a physical entity, it does have physical manifestation. For example, the Quran exists in the sound format. So, somebody decided to put the sounds in a particular way to deliver it to human beings. Now, we say the Quran could have four possible authors. It could be as claimed by God. It could be Muhammad because he's the one who delivered it. It could be let's say, a group of scholars or whatever from Arabia, or it could be someone else from somewhere else, an alien or a non-Arab or whatever, right? So we use the process of elimination to work out who it could be from, right? Now, if your mom writes you a letter, you would know it's your mom. And if there was doubt, she can say things in that letter that only your mom could say. Do you accept that?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So in the Quran, God tells us things that only God can know. Okay? I know that perhaps because you're not familiar, you're like, no, that doesn't exist. But it takes a bit of time for you to get your head round because we're all exposed to false gods. So we've taken the
Can you give
position,
me?
God,
Sorry. Could you give me an example of something that only God would know?
Okay, very good question. Now, do you believe in miracles?
No, I believe it's all chance. I believe everything is chance, probability.
Okay, good, good. You see, sometimes people who don't believe in God, they say everything happened by chance or everything happened as a consequence of something else. You see, for chance to take effect, the constituents of the things that are interacting has to be already there. In other words, if you're mixing sugar and water to create, I don't know, let's say syrup, right? The one who put the sugar and water there is the creator, right?
Hmm.
And if it was the wind or if it was something else that pushed these two things together, and you say that's an accidental thing or whatever, even if I conceded that, the fact that those things were there in the first place means there is a creator, there is an originator, and we're disagreeing on the method, whether it was intentional or unintentional. Does that
Oh,
make sense?
I mean, God didn't put these things here to make other
Okay.
like He
Some
doesn't
people
know.
say, I understand. Some people say the Big Bang, but Big Bang only deals with the method. And in fact, the Quran, God confirms Big Bang. He says, it is we who created the universe and it is we who are expanding it. Right? So the concept of the world being, the universe being expanded has been sitting in the Quran for the last 1447 years. Okay? It's not a new concept. You said, give me something that only God can know. There are a lot of things because I have to set the context. It's like someone says, explain to me algebra, but I don't want to entertain numbers. It gets a little bit tricky because you have to learn the numbers and then replace the numbers with letters and then say, look, if you do a squared plus b squared equals c squared and so forth. So you have to sort of build in stages. Yeah. I'm not saying you don't have the capacity. I'm saying you don't have the familiarity with the
Mm,
smaller bits to build the bigger bits, if that makes sense.
mm, yeah.
Yeah. So I'll give you one verse from the Quran which shows that it's a universal religion. Chapter 5, verse 84, God says, say, we believe in God and what was revealed to us and what was revealed to Abraham, to Ishmael, to Isaac, to Jacob and the tribes, and what was given to Moses and Jesus and the prophets from their Lord. We make no distinction between any of them, for we submit to God. Now, we take the Quran as the biggest evidence for God's existence and the message. We have a book. This is still, I find it quite amazing. We have a book, a collection of sounds that exists and claims to be from God. And 1447 years has passed, and we still have it in that original format. And in the message, God says, Inna nahnu nazzalna dhikra wa inna lahu lahafidhun. It is we who send this reminder, and it is we who are the preserver of it. Yeah? So the
Okay.
preservation of the Quran is one of the miracles of the Quran, because common sense says someone comes up with a text, somebody else says, I don't like this, but they tweak it, change it, etc. Somebody else says, what? If Muhammad can write a book, I can write a better book. And these things happen over time, and you end up with 50 books, 100 books, contradicting each other, etc., etc. So you have a book that claims to be from God, and it is preserved, which is unexpected in the normal terms. Number one. Number two, in the book itself, God challenges humanity. It says, if you're in doubt, right, what we have sent down to our servant, then produce a chapter like it. So the Quran has a certain style, certain, characteristics, sort of poetry, and in poetry you've got the similes, you've got the repetitions, and you've got certain structures, etc. The Quran has this, but much, much more. And God challenges people to come up with a chapter like it. Okay?
Okay.
If this was not from a divine source, to repeat it is easy. You do something, I can do it better. I do something, somebody else can better on it. The Quran, the challenge remains. God challenges people to produce a chapter like the Quran. Now, I appreciate because you don't speak Arabic, you might not be able to fully digest it,
Yeah.
but that challenge is there, and it takes a bit of reading, bit of understanding, because we're talking at a PhD level stuff now, right? Because we're trying to, it's like someone says, how do you know uranium 238 is uranium 238 and not uranium 239? Trying to explain it to a kid is going to be technical, it's going to be problematic. Yeah. So
Mm.
I appreciate when it comes to linguistics, you have to be familiar with the language, you have to be familiar with poetry, you have to be familiar with, the standards we're talking about and what it is that's been asked of the people, etc., etc. Right? Now, the Quran also makes prophecies about the future. The Prophet Muhammad, he also makes prophecies about the future, right? And again, once you read the Muslim history, you are dumbfounded by the intensity of its truth and the intensity of its impact. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, he was born in 570. He became a prophet in 610. He preached for 23 years until 633. The Bedouins that followed Prophet Muhammad, do you know how long it took them to conquer Spain?
Um, hundreds of years, no?
No, no. The Bedouins of Arabia, who had absolutely nothing to their name, within 2.5 generations, were knocking on the doors of France. It's impossible. It's humanly impossible. Okay? The Prophet died at 633. By 711, the Muslims were in parts of France. 633, 43, 53, 63, 73, 83, 93, 03, 11. Under 80 years. 2.5 generations. It's humanly impossible, right? For them to do what they have done. What made it happen is because God owes us a duty to spread his message. And it wasn't spread by the sword. The Muslims were not the powerful forces. There was a battle between the Muslims and the Christians. The Muslims numbered, I think it was 3,000. The Romans numbered 200,000. Do you know who won?
The Muslims.
Exactly. How is it possible that a 3,000 strong, ill equipped, can defeat 200,000? How is it possible?
I don't know. I can't confirm these things because I'm unaware.
No, I understand. Look, I'm not going to obviously give you things and say, oh, you don't know. And no, no, no. I'm just pointing at certain things because I see
Yeah.
you as someone honestly seeking something and you're skeptical. And in Islam, we encourage you to be skeptical. In fact, in Islam, the declaration of faith says there is no God, there is no deity. And you're stuck on that right now. That's where you are,
Yeah.
right? Then it says, accept the God that is the true God. And Muhammad is the messenger, Jesus was the messenger, Moses was the messenger, bringing God's message. It will take a bit of work, it will take a bit of digging. I would encourage you to read the Quran. There is a video that you can watch that sort of helps you a little bit. There's an American chap who was initially Christian, but then he lost his faith, etc. If you want to take a screenshot of this one, you can watch it later on.
Okay.
You got it?
Yeah. Got it.
How the Bible led me to Islam, yeah?
Yeah. Got it.
Okay. My brother, my name is Ahmed. I live in London.
Okay.
On YouTube, you can write to me, you can write comments, whatever. Become Muslim Now is the handle, at Become Muslim Now. I haven't put any videos on that channel yet, but I'm looking to. Would you
Okay.
mind if I put you on there?
Okay. Sure.
Okay, good, good, good. So I'm going to obviously have discussions and ideas, and I'm going to put things on there. Um, you're in the right place. Long as you're honest and long as you're seeking, you will find the truth. And then you'll have to decide whether you want to accept it and follow. The word salama means peace. Islam, process of achieving peace. Mu Islam, the one who follows the process of peace. Whenever we greet people, we say Assalamu alaikum, may the peace and blessings of God be upon you. We are encouraging people to have knowledge, and then obviously faith will grow around that knowledge. We believe humanity is one brotherhood. You're my brother. Everybody is related to everybody, and we only have one purpose, and that is to learn about God and try our best to follow God. And by doing so, you will achieve your purpose and you will find success in this life and the next. People who say there is no God, there is nothing, they correct 99.9% of the time. That 0.1%, which is the true God and the true message, it takes a bit of effort to find and to follow. If you say to people there is no God, the alternative is we do whatever we do. And that is a recipe for chaos and disaster. World War One, do you know if it was religious war?
Um, I
No.
don't. No, no, I don't think so. No.
All the parties were Christian. The leading parties, they
Yeah.
were all Christian. World War Two, same thing. World War Three, which we're in the midst of, I think, again, it's got nothing to do with religion. It's more to do with power,
Politics.
control, resources, etc. So some people say, oh, religion is false. Why? Because it causes wars. No. The Crusades happened because we had bad leaders who abused the religion to encourage people to go and fight.